Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now finally, a long awaited time for Act 9.3. Well, it's almost here. At the very least 9.3 has been announced. It's coming next month, landing on 10th of September, I believe. And there are some things we need to talk about. Because number one, the first things first, for most part, it's business as usual. It's still, one act containing 4 chapters. Okay, that's fine. Each chapter containing 6 quests. So 9.3 will have 6 quests. Each quest is made of 3 paths with 6 fights on each path. 3 final bosses, 1 to 3 choice nodes found just before fighting the final boss. And the new thing is that there's going to be class gates now at the start of each path, which, objectively speaking, is never a good thing for the players. And I have long had this feeling like Kabam is trying very hard to specifically curate the player experience, and this is something that I personally actively dislike. In the earlier story content chapters, like, one of the coolest things to do, period, was find some sort of cool, interesting interactions of all the champions that exist there, right? Whether there's some sort of infinite stun loop or some interesting interaction, or damage reflection with Heimdall or Electro or what have you. But having the ability to be free and experiment and have fun and test things out was always more exciting to me than doing the fights with exactly the champions Kabam allows me to do those fights with, exactly in the manner that Kabam wants me to do those fights. I do not find it, fun, personally. So the more restrictions on what champions you can bring in, typically it means, number one, kind of more frustration for the players if your roster is not necessarily the biggest, but it also means less ability to free and experiment and test things out and, have fun and enjoy yourself to begin with. So, class gates, I don't think is a good thing at all. They have never been a good thing. There's a reason why at large we kind of moved away from gates, period. You guys remember in 6.2 they were like a big massive problem, and eventually Kabam kind of understood that and removed it, and now they're back. So I don't like the class gates, flat out. I think it's bad. I think it's bad for the players. I think it's good for Kabam because they can again be kind of like more specific in how players are going to clear their content, but it's definitely not good for the players. And class gates are set up at the start of each path. Paths have unique challenges. Well, they always have done, but still. Again, I was fine with them having like some sort of soft requirements of specific class champions, but you can still bring in synergies of different classes. You can test out different strategies or ignore some of the nodes. Them having flat out class gates, I think, is bad. Right. Quest energy is the same as always. Scourge, we have had that as well. And then we all know the new Doom boss. Looked quite cool. I will give them that. If there's like one area that I generally give Kabam quite a lot of leeway, is that the boss fights, for most part, have been very well designed throughout the entire Act 7, Act 8. And I'm kind of, chill with them doing those fights how they want, because more often than not, they're very fun. The big discussion point, though, is the rewards. And the rewards are underwhelming this time. They look like neat and decent and all, that's fine, but the big problem to explain is, number one, you have like 1 to 2 gems and no 2 to 3 gems. That just doesn't make much sense to me. I find it fairly dumb that at this point the highest story progression content gives you only 1 to 2 gems and no 2 to 3 gems. There are obviously some tier 4 alpha catalysts, but you're going to be using them with the tier 7 basics for the rank 4. Almost all of them. So that is the second big problem here. And here we are going to compare the rewards for rewards. So we can start with 3 tier 4 alphas, 5,000 7-star Titan shards, 1 6-star relic, 18,000 7-star hero crystal shards. Now I'm going to quickly show you 9.2 rewards. 2 tier 4 alphas, so 1 more tier 4 alpha, 5,000 Titan shards, 1 6-star relic, 15,000. So they added, like, so far they have added 1 tier 4 alpha and 3,000 7-star hero crystal shards, which is not great. And it's effectively the same story throughout, where, you know, there's a little bit more tier 6 CC, there's a little bit more tier 3 alpha and tier 6 basic, as we can see here. And there were more tier 7 basic fragments in the completion. However, a little bit. But you effectively still, you know, this is like 63k fragments, right? And then you go, like, you get 1.5. So they have just added a little bit there. And now we have exploration rewards, which again, they have done exactly the same thing. We had like 2 1-2 gems. We still get 2 1-2 gems for whatever reason. We had 1 7-star crystal. Now we get 2 class crystals, which are also like the baseball crystals. And they have added like 5k Titan shards to the entire thing. That's it. It just... And in total here, I believe we have like 4 tier 7 basics. And previously I had 3. And that is a very, very minor change overall, considering how the game has changed since April. In April, people had hardly any rank 4 champions. At that point, you had like, what, 5, maybe 6? And kind of prove a point. It's been, again, a really long time and people's rosters have really grown. It's been about the same time as like 9.1 and 9.2 were separated, right? And when you take a look at 9.1, there was like 0 tier 7 basic stuff involved. There wasn't even like a Titan crystal together. And like the jump from 9.1 to 9.2 is fairly massive. It's like a full rank 4. And then the jump from 9.2 to 9.3 is extremely minor because it's like 1 tier 7 basic catalyst that has effectively changed. And I'm not the only one that has noticed it. First of all, it jumped out immediately to me on the live stream, but again, 9.3 exploration rewards really want to do gems, and then, you know, there have been threads made about it. Obviously, there are comments already getting deleted about it, but it out of all of the things, and there are more that I do want to discuss from the last live stream and from all the bits of news, it's definitely one that really jumped out to me. Especially when it comes right next to Kabama announcing yet another big sale with the web track and, you know, guaranteed Silver Samurai and milestones and all that other stuff. And very few, nobody's happy about it. But you can kind of see Kabam doing sales if they allow us to earn some solid good rewards. But when we're at the point where in one sales event that happens almost every month, you can buy like 5 rank 4s. And in the content, the biggest endgame piece of content, well, the latest story chapter that has gotten released, you earn like 1. And of course, there's other stuff to do in the game, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is that the amount of acquisition that you can play for is just extremely disproportionate to the amount of acquisition you have to pay for. And therefore, in my opinion, it's extremely important that the rewards do keep up. So that's why, again, I did find it kind of like cool that we went from like no tier 7 basics here at all to a full rank up of the champions, right? In the chapter 2. And then we again kind of move in the snail space in 9.3. Which overall, so we need to take a look at 9.3, and I hope it's a good piece of content, but to be quite frank, as a very experienced player, since Act 6 finished, starting Act 7, I kind of stopped looking at story content as like super exciting pieces of content, aside from the boss fights. And I was just kind of like, okay, new study chapter is here. I'm going to quickly explore it to get the rewards, because the rewards are typically decent. Because the content itself kind of has long lost its teeth, but that's just me. But the point is, it was always made to be kind of like easier, more breezy to do an interesting boss fight and a decent amount of rewards and story content. Now, the two changes, the one big change with the class gates is definitely anti-player, and the rewards are also, well, the rewards buff is also like, it's just really not kind of up to the evolution of the game. Barely better than 9.2, which is not the way it should be. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next